was just like,
It was,
right there.
And it was with his friend,
So we're public
with the last name of Bean,
we're gonna
who's
lose
now
a
a
few
Bellevue
friends
cop.
in between those.
who's that?
No, that's not true. He didn't know him till he went on a mission.
Oh, okay.
So that was not the
Okay.
friend.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I don't know what the other friend was. I wasn't concerned
You
about
know
that
who the
at the
other friend
time.
was?
No.
Oh, okay. You had that look on your face. Well, we skipped Michael.
I know, we shouldn't skip Mike.
We're not gonna skip Michael's. No, we can't skip Michael.
Well, Michael, do I have to talk about him?
Yeah, you
Unfortunately.
do.
Well, I hate to say this with everybody else in here, but that's the nicest young man that I know.
You didn't think that when he was a kid, though.
No.
You were very hard on him.
Yep.
Oh, I was worse than hard.
Yeah.
he was hard on all of us.
Oh, yeah.
They was
Oh,
hard
yeah, I was terrible. I was not a very good father for a number of years until I got really old and decrepit, like I am now.
Like yesterday? The day
No,
before?
Today.
He's been that way for many years.
Yeah. No, Michael,
Yes, sir.
I don't remember too much about you other than the fact that,
I remember you and Janet said to me hundreds of times, you never thought I'd live past 15.
well, I was gonna kill you.
Yeah, that was number one on the list. But it was always running in front of cars, jumping
Yeah.
in front of motorboats,
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Running through glass.
The first,
running through glass doors.
the first
My
time,
fault.
Yeah,
The first
27
time-
stitches.
the first time I had a real problem with Michael is we went out to Wandermere Lake, and we were all kind of swimming around, and the next thing I know, Michael was out there about 40 feet trying to drown himself. And I had to swim out there and get him and pull him in.
He did that all the time. He would go up to White Rock. He would just, White Rock is a beach up in Canada, and it's just, and he would just walk out, and she'd just keep walking.
I wanted to get in the water.
And somebody'd have to go get her. Reminding me of the time that Sophie fell into the lake. And she was 3, and some random woman, I'm running the minute I see her fall in there, and some random woman goes and picks her up, and she said, I was gonna swim.
Nice job, Sophie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna swim, but I called Michael and I said, how can this be? Completely fearless.
The bowling ball gene, they call it.
Yeah, that
Let's
talk about that one.
Another story altogether.
is. Yes, it
We can
is.
talk about that one
The
right now.
story I remember is Liberty Lake. And
Yeah.
I was a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, somewhere in there, and I jumped into the lake off the dock and didn't see the motorboat coming.
Oh no.
And I jumped in, and the motorboat went right over top of me and missed me. And Leon, the only thing I remember jumping in the lake, and then I remember coming out of the water when I had hair because he grabbed me by my hair and lifted me out of the water and looked to see if I was all cut to hell. And I wasn't. It missed me or whatever. But that's what I remember is him lifting me out and then being pissed. The boat didn't kill me, but now he was going to. I may have been 7 or 8. I don't know how old I was, but I remember that.
I can't remember.
Let's see, I was like 15 or 16 at the time.
Yeah, so I was 12.
12, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things go deep, the
Yeah.
spinners.
Propellers.
But it was a small boat. It's a little 12-foot, boat.
Right.
It wasn't like a big ski boat or anything.
Yeah.
So it had just a little motor.
I was a 12-year-old in my own world and jumped in the water.
We're glad you're here.
I'm especially glad.
Yeah, you're kind of dependent on me, aren't you?
Okay, so do you want to talk about David?
Yeah, we need to talk about David and wrestling and how, he would be making weight and he'd be so cranky.
They all were.
And get angry.
Gosh.
God.
Don't forget Bill.
And Bill.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bill.
Bill.
Well, it's David. Yeah. Go ahead. But David was a challenge for you because he's so damn bright.
Oh. Yeah, that's the thing. I've always said this about David. He was more than a challenge because he is actually brilliant as far as I'm concerned. And I have always been I've been dyslexic all of my life and a little bit behind as far as education is concerned. I went to the University of Washington, but I couldn't make it because I just didn't function properly because of my dyslexia, and I didn't know that I had dyslexia until Joe gave me a magazine about 10 years ago. And I was reading in this magazine, and I started to read about it, and it hit me, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's what the problem has been. All of my life I've been dyslexic, and I'm still that same way. When you guys read, you read maybe 10 pages, and you can remember what's in the 10 pages.
Not Sophie.
Who in this room
Not
can do that?
Sophie.
Sophie.
Sophie's yours.
Anyway, most of you can read like that and read the 10 pages and everything fits right together. Me, I couldn't do that, and I wondered for years what was going on because I went to college and
Wanted to be a doctor.
yeah, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it through math. I couldn't make it through any of those subjects that had to do with putting things together.
So
And-
Erin has a follow-up question.
Did that make you want to murder David more?
When he became a doctor?
Because he wanted to do that?
Probably. Yeah, probably it did because I've always resented David because he is so brilliant and I'm just, you know,
The father of brilliant.
yeah.
a good
But
place to
it was frustrating at that time. It has not bothered me much since that time because I realized that I've got talents that he'll never have. So, and you know, you just learn that over the years. So,
So for the other generation, our grandparents lived in Spokane and we lived in Seattle. And we'd go over for holidays and all the kids would pile into the station wagon and there'd be a mattress or a cradle in the back.
Before seatbelts,
Oh,
no
yeah.
seatbelts.
No
And we were
seatbelts.
driving on the road and David would say,
And he was only like 4.
I'm dehydrated.
So David is 3 or 4.
will you please not remind me?
He wasn't thirsty. I'm dehydrated.
Yeah, and 4.
Rob,
At what age?
this is your turn instead
4?
of Joe's turn. He needs someone to hit.
Jeez. At 4, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was one of those kids who didn't talk much at all until 2, and then would talk in full sentences, which is a little bit similar. No, you talked from the very beginning, but in full sentences.
Right out of it.
But Dave didn't talk for a long time, and then when he started talking, it was like that. Words like dehydration and other stuff like that. Really.
But we also, Janet had a brother that was a theoretical nuclear physicist.
Yep.
And I can barely say it. And there's Uncle Vic,
Yeah.
who are one.
Who are
And we used to play games with Uncle Vic.
Oh, we boxed with him.
Yeah, well, I boxed with him a lot, but we used to play, we'd get out a calculator and somebody'd go, 33,210 times 4,202. And he could do it before the calculator could.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
Just like that. It was just like, it was scary.
So he's almost like a bit of a savant level because that's
He was
Yeah,
very,
he was.
very
But,
smart.
but he was normal because he would box with us. He'd get down on our knees. That's one of my best memories of Uncle Vic is where it's Christmas time and he's visiting and he's boxing with us. And he was a boxer. He could actually box. He just wasn't playing with us. He knew how to do it. And so he'd get tired of us and whack us and we'd be over with.
Until he broke his hand on my head.
Yeah, but he was a well-rounded person. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes the really bright guys,
Yeah.
you know, can't hold a conversation. He played the recorder, which is kind of a flute kind of thing. And I mean, he'd come and play recorder, 10 people in the front room, and
Yep.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
And
he
Janet was that way too. Janet was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. She was
Sweet.
really something, Janet was. How she got involved with me,
Zane?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Shut up, Zane.
Tell us about
No,
Joe.
I miss Janet.
We missed Bill first.
Oh, Billy.
Yeah,
Bill.
gotta go with Bill. Enough said.
Bill was another real story. He was a Tlingit Indian that we, well, first, before I talk about Bill, we had, the church had a program, it's called the Indian Placement Program. And we had,
Linda and Mary.
yeah, we had Linda and Mary came and lived with us, but not for very long because
One school year each.
one full year each.
School year.
Yeah, but they didn't stay with us very long. I think that probably was because I couldn't deal with it, with having these gals come and deal in the family.
Dad, look.
What? Oh, what? What did they do?
Duke.
Duke is
69.
ahead, 69-61.
You're kidding.
There's a basketball game going on.
Do we need to end soon and finish the
apparently
rest
No.
tomorrow?
Well, why don't we get through the kids?
Okay, let's get through
Okay,
the kids
so
and
tell-
then.
tell about Bill.
Commercials.
Tell us
Okay.
about Billy.
Tlingit Indian from
Alaska.
Alaska. And he was a very interesting young man. He was not, he had problems. I think he must have been dyslexic also.
Yeah, well,
'Cause-
Brittany definitely is, his daughter,
Yeah,
is big time dyslexic.
but he struggled mightily. He was a good wrestler in high school,
His reading comprehension.
but